Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Brita Wallace. I am a family and parent educator with Wallace Family Ministry, and we have been going on a Love Dare journey for parents. And today we are on day 29, and day 29 is Love Listens. That's our theme for the day and our teaching for the day. And we always start with a verse, which today is John 11:41 through 42. And in that verse, it says, "Father, I thank you that you've heard me. I knew that you always hear me." So, do your children believe that you truly understand them? How in tune are you with their concerns right now? Do you know their highest hopes and deepest fears? Do they feel comfortable telling you their stories? Of all the things our children need, regular moments of our undivided attention are near the top of the list. So that's the very first point that I want you to get today. Of all the things our children need, regular moments of our undivided attention are near the top of the list. Deliberate, undistracted listening reminds them that they matter to us, okay? So this makes parental attentiveness a priceless art that we must master as loving moms and dads, all right? While multitasking is a necessity in this digital age, good listening requires us to pause and focus with a one-track mind. TV and earphones off, computers and cell phones out of sight, hands at rest, lips smiling, ears listening, and head nodding. Despite all of our busyness, love must be allowed to interrupt us, inviting us to intentionally and consistently enter our children's world. So I'm going to read that again. This is the next point that I want you to get. Despite all our busyness, love must be allowed to interrupt us, inviting us to intentionally and consistently enter our children's world. Okay? So everyone longs to experience a level of intimate friendship with others, to be fully known and loved. It has been said that another pronunciation for the word intimacy is "into me you see," because this truly describes what happens when someone allows another person to know the deepest, darkest secrets of their heart. When they are free to do this, assured they will still be accepted and loved, even in this vulnerable position, a wonderful bonding experience occurs. People will always feel lonely inside if no one truly knows them and loves them at the core of who they are. And I'm going to repeat that again. People will always feel lonely inside if no one truly knows them and loves them at the core of who they are. Okay, so I can speak into that a little. I was a child who felt very misunderstood. I was very misunderstood. I'm not blaming that on anybody. That's not to shame anybody. I can just tell you that I spent a long time in my life feeling alone and not dealing with that well at all. So I know what that feels like as a child and having to navigate and deal with those emotions and those feelings and that deep anxiety of dealing with loneliness. I had really, really severe anxiety, like hyperventilating anxiety over that being alone and being alone at nighttime. I was like, what if somebody breaks in and I'm the only one here, and who's going to be with me? And I just felt comfortable. I mean, I know these are extreme thoughts, but this is like, I would just really, really struggle. And I had to face that fear. I made myself face that fear. I didn't do amazing at it. I was like, I don't like this, and eventually one day I'll have a husband and a family and I won't have to be alone all the time anymore. And that was like the conclusion that I came to. But then I had to face it again when my husband started working nights. I didn't do it well in the first apartment that we were in. I wasn't comfortable there, and I actually got up and went and took Jack as a baby to my mom's and stayed there in the nights. My husband worked nights. And then the rest of the week I stayed at home with him. But then in our house, it was like, I can't keep doing this. Is not feasible for my child, right? He needs structure and routine, and we had already moved him, and that was hard for him and a big adjustment even at 5.5 months old. I will tell you, side note, that I moved 2 children in their early lives. And we always say it's better to move kids when they're younger. And I think that there is something to that. But I think when they're really young, it affects them. They can't tell you that it does, but I can tell you that I've moved 2 kids while they were very young. Ollie was a little shy of 18 months, and Jack was 5.5 months the first time, and both of them, things changed for them in life, and we saw major issues with adaptation, and really just had a really hard time adapting to those new situations and that change. So I can speak into that it does affect our kids when we do make big moves, even when they're so little. So I don't know what the perfect age for that is if you're going to do it. But it does affect them. It affects their sleep schedules. That affected us the most, for sure. Didn't go well for my kids. They struggled through it. They're fine. They're resilient. We teach them how to be resilient. So kids are resilient if you teach them. If they have the tools that they need in order to be resilient. But they did struggle through it, and it was tough. And I feel like it's because it's instability, like they have a routine and structure, and then you're messing with that and it becomes unstable, and they get used to something and then they have to readapt to another situation. And sometimes Ollie seems to adapt pretty well to new situations, and Jack struggled through it more. But even Ollie being able to adapt to situations a little better, because he doesn't have the same struggles as Jack and he's a different person, still struggled through that. So totally different personalities, but feeling alone, you get this alone feeling, and it doesn't leave you if you don't feel like somebody understands you and loves them at the core of who they are. I didn't felt loved for who I was. I didn't feel like anybody knew me or understood me. I mean, there's times or people in my life that I still feel that way with, that I'm just like, they just don't understand me, and I, or they don't get it, or, whatever. And if I let my brain go there and I'm like, okay, I can either allow that to put me in some emotional turmoil, or I can say, you know what, that's fine. They don't need to. I know who I am. I know who I am in Christ. I know what I'm doing. I know what He's called me to do. And that's what's important. And I stand girded in that. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm confident in who I am. I've had a long, hard, difficult journey of life with a lot of challenges. And a lot of wonderful things have happened in there as well. But a lot of dark times, and I've overcome every single one of them in my life, and I get to now share them with people to help others, and I get to teach, and I get to be vulnerable so other people know that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's not something I necessarily would have chosen to do 5 years ago. Let's see, 5 years ago? Life flies by, guys, so I'm trying to think. Has it been five? Yeah, because I went back to school in 2017, end of 2017. So, but yeah, so 5 years ago, I would say, 2016, I did not imagine that this is what I would be doing at this stage in my life. I just didn't, So, and I wouldn't have imagined this. I wouldn't have imagined that I had gone back to school and did what I did and gone into the field that I went into. Like, none of that was in the cards for me then. I was actually wanting to go back to school after I kind of settled into being into Michigan and being married, go back to school to finish my health and wellness degree that I was very close to finishing. And when we moved back to New York, God actually put on my heart to go to school for early childhood, and that was really kind of confusing for me. I'm like, what? But I did it. I was obedient, and that's the thing. I'm obedient a lot of times in the big things. It's like the small everyday things that make me who I am, or patterns or habits that I've been used to for so long that are the hardest things for me to change or to be obedient to, because they take practice, and we have to work hard to change them, you know. But when he asks me to do something big and make big moves, I'm usually like, okay, let's do this, because I know that he's going to bless me through it, and that he has a plan, and I trust in his plan. So anyway, too often young children, and especially teenagers, keep the deepest matters of their lives buried and hidden from their parents. I hate that. They don't feel invited to share, or perhaps they're just afraid of being ignored or rejected if they pour out their true feelings, needs, or concerns. But you, as their parent, are the very one God has commissioned to love them at this level. That's why taking time to ask heart-to-heart questions and listening to your children are such vital components to your parenting. Your tender ears create a safe and protected place for your children to bare their soul to you. Since most conversations usually start at a surface level, children will often share childish and unimportant matters early on. What they saw on TV, what someone did at school, or their latest and greatest interests. If you ignore them or disregard their words in these shallow places, they may not feel safe to go any deeper with you. Ouch. But it's important, but if it is important to them, it should become important to you. By valuing them and assuring them of your interest and love, they will be more willing to share their deepest needs, feelings, and concerns with you. So that's the next thing that I want you to get. By valuing them and assuring them of your interest and love, no matter what it is, even if you're not interested, put on a smiley face, listening ears, nod your head, ask curiosity questions if you don't know, and allow them to talk to you and to open up to you. And you're going to see the fruit in that, all right? They are going to be more willing to share their deepest needs, their feelings, and concerns with you. And whether you're talking with them in the car or over the phone or embracing them by their bedside, your job is to carefully cherish and love your children when they open up their hearts. So that's the next thing. Your job is to carefully cherish and love your children when they open up their hearts. They may be saying things that are completely off base. They may be blinded or emotional. They may even need to be rebuked. But by first giving them your undivided attention and simply clarifying what they said, they can now at least know they've been heard. All right? And that's really important to not just kids, but to us as humans. We want to be heard, right? If they believe that you understand and you care, then they will trust you more completely and better value your counsel and concerns, okay? So that's the next thing. If they believe that you understand and care, they will trust you more completely and better value your counsel and concerns, okay? So in contrast, bitter and rebellious teenagers often feel like their parents do not take time to listen or understand them. How true is that? Think about when you were a teenager and you're like, my parents just don't understand me. They were teenagers once too. And I think as adults, we forget that, or we have to say, oh, like we have to deal with them a certain way because they're this way. And there's this, social stigma about them that, they are bitter and they are rebellious. But developmentally, yeah, we all go through that. So wouldn't you rather help your children through that so they would be the least bitter and rebellious child, as opposed to allowing them to just kind of, oh, they're teenagers, they're going to do what they want to do and there's nothing I can do about it, and let me just kind of turn a blind eye, or punish them for every single thing that they're rebellious in, instead of trying to have a conversation with them, which is really, really hard to not do, and to have curiosity questions and to have conversations. There is this, I'm getting off track here, guys, with some things, but there is one of the lessons in my positive discipline facilitators manual, where it talks about, and I actually send this to my clients who have teenagers, and it talks about there's a mom and there's a daughter, and they're having a conversation, and the daughter tells her mom that she got drunk, or that she wants to get drunk or something, or drink with her friends. And the mom could have freaked out, right? The mom could have been like, why would you do that? You're grounded, yada, yada, yada. Period. That's it. We're done, right? Or, you know, maybe they didn't freak out. Maybe they kind of had the same reaction, but in a kinder way, let's say, even. But like, you're grounded, that was wrong, and you're you're kinder about it, you're firm and dismissive. Like, that's it. But what do you think would happen if we actually said to our teenager, okay, well, why did you decide to do that? Or why do you think you want to do that? Let them respond. Neutral, calm, no tood. Okay, moms, no tood. No like, why do you think you want to do that for? You know, calm, neutral. Have a conversation. Ask questions. Because oftentimes when we do that, and this is the scenario in this book, and this is a proven method to work, daughter ended up deciding, I can't remember if she did drink or she just was talking about wanting to drink. She ended up deciding that it was not a choice that she wanted to make, and the reasons for it, because her mom kept asking her curiosity questions. And curiosity questions are huge. They are proven. It's collaborative problem solving. One, Dr. Ross Greene calls it, one psychologist and parent educator, or parenting expert, I should say, calls it. And there's other, I see it in themes over and over and over and over again with parenting, because that's what I've researched it all the time still, so I can give people the best quality education. And every single parenting model that is going to yield positive results in our children talks about asking questions. They all call them maybe something a little different. You know, Dr. Ross Greene calls them curiosity questions. There was a term the other day where I heard somebody else call it something different, and I was like, yep, that's curiosity questions. Ask your kids questions. And they all tell you to ask them in the same way, in a neutral, non-accusatory, calm tone, like you are talking to a friend, like I'm talking to you right now. Like, hey, you know, why did you think you wanted to do that? Like, why do you think you are deciding that you want to get drunk? You know, just very, you know, neutral face. You have to make sure that so pretend that you're like, if you have to pretend that you're like at a table waitressing, talking to somebody, where you're giving them respect, even if you think what they're ordering or what they're doing is totally gross or disgusting. Neutral face, okay? Like, neutral face, neutral tone, respect, calm, collected, okay? Talking to them that way. And maybe you have to say, I just need 1 minute, go in the bathroom or the closet, pantry, whatever you want to do. All right, check yourself, girl. Let's check ourselves. Come back, have the conversation, because that opens the door for your teenager to talk to you. They're all subjected. We are all subjected. Thank your prefrontal cortex to do dumb things when we're teenagers. There's a different degree based upon personality, temperament, environment, lots of things that will say to what degree we do dumb things, but we all do dumb things as teenagers. It is a given. So it's the development that your prefrontal cortex is at that time. I mean, it just makes us do dumb things. So again, all right, so bitter and rebellious teenagers often feel their parents do not take time to listen or understand them, all right? Since good understanding produces favor, Proverbs 13:15, All parents should frequently initiate safe conversations with their children to keep everyone's hearts closely tied together. Yes, the energy and time required in listening is a sacrifice of love. Remember, love is sacrificial, but the prospect of having your child's heart turns it into a very profitable investment. And that's the thing, guys. We wanted children. We decided to have children. Maybe not all of us decided or planned to have our children, but we decided to keep them. And when we did that, so often in parenting, I hear excuses from people like, oh, I don't have time for that, or I don't have time for this. But the thing about it is that you are raising a human being. That is a big job that requires sacrifice every single day of your living existence. I don't care if your children are grown. I don't care if your children are 0 years old. That sounded weird. I don't care if they're 5. I don't care what age they are. It is a sacrifice. It is a sacrifice that we decided to take on. And too often in homes, people do not take that seriously enough. And sometimes I'm just like, man, and I don't say that always, because you have to be compassionate. And I'm not saying that to be uncompassionate. I feel that too. It's a struggle inside of us. I am a mom. I'm a human. And I still feel that sometimes I have to remind myself that this is the sacrifice you decided that you wanted. At one time, I made a decision to have children, that I wanted them, that I wanted to keep them. Doesn't matter how I got them, that this is what I wanted. And we forget as they grow and life gets busy, and we make our busyness more important than actually pouring our time into the human beings that we decided to bring into this world. And I'm telling you right now that that is a mistake. We need to stop caring about the trivial things in life and things that don't matter, and we need to pour into our humans instead. I'm not saying that means we drop everything, we don't have any hobbies. I'm saying that maybe we need to reassess where we're spending our time and make sure that we are making the time to pour into the lives that we decided and took on the responsibility to raise. And I have to remind myself of that too sometimes, guys. I'm not saying that to put anybody down. I'm speaking the truth in love. I hope you're picking up what I'm throwing down, but it's so true. So many times we say that's going to take too long, or I can't do that because I don't have the time. I don't have the time to spend 10 minutes a day with my child. And when somebody says that to me or implies that to me, my heart sinks. Because I'm like, 10 minutes a day? Well, you need a lesson in time management. Let's figure out what's going into your schedule. Because are you watching TV? Are you on social media? Are you checking email? Are you texting with people and having a conversation with a friend? Maybe you talk to a friend on the phone every day. This is the thing. Certain things need to be at the bottom of our list, and our children need to be higher on the list, guys, okay? Because we need to make sacrifices for them. That is the job that we had taken on when we decided to bring them into this world, okay? So we have to make sure that we're taking the time and that we're not saying, oh, I don't have time, or I can't do that because I'm too busy right now, all right? Because to your children, that's gonna dig a deep, deep scar in their heart, and they're gonna carry it for a long, long time. I promise you that will happen. So it's a profitable investment, right? It's a sacrifice, but it's a profitable investment. Listening and pouring in to our children, okay? Sometimes our challenge is in drawing them out so we can discover what they're really thinking. In cases like these, Listening can ironically require doing more talking and gentle probing, all right? But love can give us the patience for that, all right? Let me be sure I'm hearing you correctly. We can say that. As they get older, one thing we learn in coaching is, what I hear you saying is, this is another way. Let me be sure I'm hearing you right. Let me be sure I'm hearing you correctly. It sounds like you've been having you've really been going through a lot. It sounds like you've really been going through a lot. I don't know why I had a hard time reading that. I can see how that would make you feel uncomfortable. I can see that that makes you feel really sad. I can see that you're really mad right now. I can see that you're going through something. I can see that you're having a bad day. Right, guys? Acknowledging their feelings. That is the first part of connecting with them and helping them through their feelings and teaching them social and emotional maturity and autonomy, which is so important, okay? And not many people teach their children or understand that that's something we need to pour into and teach our children today. So most of the time when love listens, it's not carrying on a crime investigation or a call-in hotline, nor is it jumping ahead to a quick fix. It's just listening and it's just loving. It's that simple. Sincerely caring and sharing understanding with somebody. Empathizing with somebody. Listening also prepares your children to one day develop an intimate walk with God in prayer. Call upon me and come and pray to me, he said, and I will listen to you. Jeremiah 29:12. If any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and without criticizing, and it will be given to him. James 1:5. Jesus built his own argument for prayers on how parents lovingly respond to their children's needs. All right? What man is there among you who, when his son asks for a loaf, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, he will give him a snake? Will he? How much will your Father who is in heaven give what is good to those who ask him? Matthew 7:9-11. God is faithful to listen when we call. So when our children ask to talk, we won't give them a busy signal, will we? Our children should daily live with the same confidence in our love, okay? So I said a lot today, guys. This was a longer video than some. Sometimes I really just feel like it's on my heart to just pour into a teaching and to go deeper into it because it's so important, right? So today's dare is take each of your kids out soon for a special meal alone with you. Plan on spending most of the time just listening. Ask them questions about their hopes, dreams, concerns, and goals. Remember to help them feel safe as you pursue a sense of mutual understanding. Aim for their heart. Build that connection with them. All right? I love you guys. I thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and God bless.